Hello folks, welcome back to the Ready Go Tea Party, and let's play Wolfenstein 2. Today's episode is brought to you by Asker. Thank you very much, Asker, for your continued support on Patreon. Very much appreciate it. Went ahead and stopped here because I'm picking up right where I left off, and I'm sure something was about to go down. Wait, are we at the TV station? Get on board. Oh! Harsh.
Left for your wide shot.
Stop, Gunther.
Stand by. What?
Look. Stay on the air. Go do what you have to do, darling.
Jesus, it can't be him. God, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me.
I ate the plate too.
It's Terror-Billy. It's fucking Terror-Billy, man.
We'll keep the show running. I saw you died. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. This isn't happening.
Fucking traitors.
Easy. Go out the darling.
Feeling it, General? Doom is coming.
No, it's Wolfenstein is coming. Also, is it me or they never actually mentioned Wolfenstein? The cardboard cutout. Kitty place.
We're here with a true hero. One of the biggest names we've ever had on this show. The scourge of terrorists everywhere. General Engel!
Yeah, they're all cutouts.
Yeah. All right. General Engel.
I think she probably have a lot more security than this, to be fair. Than like one inept guard.
I'm going to say what's on everybody's mind. Take us through the moment you executed Terror-Billy. What was that like for you? It must have been so emotional.
This needs to happen up close. For you, Caroline.
As I was swinging my saber, I thought to myself, we are safe now. Terror-Billy was a terrible threat to everyone's safety. A demon, disguised as a man. But I have proven.
Hold on, I want to save because I'm about to go back and get a better thumbnail. I want to hear this though.
Yes.
Because I have a feeling when I push this, it's gonna.
I promise you this. If there are demons amongst you, we will hunt them down. Just like William Joseph Blaskovich, they will die and burn until they are no longer a threat to the safety of decent folk.
Woo! You hear that? Did you hear that? Yes. All right. Wow. Powerful words, General.
Close enough.
Powerful words.
You all.
What the hell?
You're dead!
Jesus fucking
I
Christ!
suffer death from your shoulders! I killed you!
Ha!
Lady, is that the best you got? Then your best won't do. You among wolves now. These are our words.
Ouch!
Oh, Lord, look at you. There's stuff in your face, full of bright words as you're sitting in front of your Nazi television boxes. Just laughing all the lies they've been feeding you. Laughing till you're choking. Well, it ends tonight.
Oh, yeah, it ends tonight. My brothers and sisters of the United States of America, tonight, we, the free people of the resistance, ask you to become one of us.
They's lying. They's lying. There's a threatening, there's a torturing, there's a killing. They beat you in submission.
They beat you.
They made your very thoughts a crime. But if tonight you gather Speak freely from your heart.
Yes.
I'll use one of us.
Right on. And if tonight we see you on the streets with a knife or a brick or just your clenched fist fighting the powers that be, then you are one of us.
And if for tonight you look down upon your hands and they soaked in the blood of our oppressors, then you is one of us.
If tonight you hold your babies in your arms and swear they'll grow up to be free people, then you are one of us.
Yeah.
Did you forget? They brought this war to our shores.
Yes, sister.
And then they beat us. They murdered us. They executed us. But guess what? Tonight, they also find out that they fucked with the wrong country. My brothers and sisters of the United States of America. When we stand together, ain't nothing and no one can take our country from us. Tonight, they burn. Tonight, you are one of us.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, God, that's content ID match. So I'm going to have to lower this music because it's almost certainly content ID. I was not expecting it to be over just yet. I think there is a little bit more, maybe. I think there's an epilogue. Also, one cool thing is the game does let you keep playing even when it's done. So you can go back and do those assassination missions if you want to. I'm not going to, but I really appreciate when a game does that. I hate when games end and then they have like side quests and whatnot and don't let you go back and do them. So it's really cool that it does that. But, okay, wow. I was expecting like a whole nother mission and like something to happen at the end to stop us. By the way, I also thought it was funny that her hair, like the entire time she was Mary or Grace was talking, she's blocking our wife's face. But yeah, so that's Wolfenstein 2 for the most part. Again, assuming there's not a little bit of prologue here. Or no, epilogue. Yeah, epilogues afterwards, right? Yeah, prologues. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean. So just what I talk about the game, or I think about it. Overall, I liked it. It's been a while since I played, but I feel like I like it less than the first game. My big complaint, which I talked about especially near the end of the game, is I feel the game was far too focused on stealth anytime there was a commander. And I feel like that kind of sucks. Like, this is not a stealth. It's not, Wolfenstein is not supposed to be a stealth game. But if you don't take those commanders out, I feel like a lot of times, depending on the stage, it did seem to be very stage dependent. But on certain stages, you were just boned. Like, unless you just cheesed enemies like we did like a few times where, like it was like a couple, like one or two times where we triggered the commander, but then we like stayed just way back and we're shooting the enemies far enough away that they couldn't pass to us and they couldn't figure out what to do. I feel like you just had to do it that way. You had to do the stealth thing. And
fucking Nazi wankers. Take to the streets and show them that the free people of Scotland will never say they do. If I could say.
Oh, that's right. She took his mother's wedding. Ah.
You make me strong and weak at the same time. Will you marry me?
William.
But yeah, like the parts of the game, like the end, like the very end airship fight, like that felt like what the game should have been more of. Like even on hard difficulties, running around, trying to, get around corners, split up the enemies, try to take them out one at a time, grabbing health and armor like when you can, and that, instead of skulking around corners trying to slowly make your way to the commander to take them out. So that they don't like summon like a ridiculous amount of enemies your way. So I felt like they failed in that regard because I felt like, and I could be misremembering, but in the first game I felt that, well, at least when I say first game, obviously I mean Wolfenstein: New Order, the last game, not the original. But I felt like in that game the stealth was optional. Like sometimes I would do stealth because I just enjoyed it more, but if I just wanted to go in gun blazing, I didn't feel like it was almost impossible to do. Which I think is a problem. It should be an option. Again, in a game that's not a stealth game and doesn't really have very good stealth mechanics, really should not be forcing or feeling like it's forcing stealth. And again, I heard a lot of complaints about that, is that even on easier difficulties, people were dying all the time and everybody was saying, oh, well, you just have to play it different. You have to play it more like a stealth game. At least until you finish out the commanders. And I feel like that's lame. Like, maybe Bethesda felt that with having Doom being your run and gun game, and I understand that Bethesda didn't develop it, they just published both games. But I think they went to MachineGames and said, okay, well, we already have our just run in and blow the shit out of stuff game. So we want this to be a little bit different. We don't want it to be quite the same. And this is the route they went. And I don't think it worked that well. Again, I like the game overall. Like getting the axe kills, especially the melee axe kills and shit, was very satisfying. And it was satisfying to take out the commanders stealthily, like especially until you get the stealth upgrades. Though it was a real bastard, and especially some of those early stages, it was a really bad combination of not having the upgrades you need, and the stages being set up so that it was incredibly difficult to get to the commander without alerting or setting off the alarm. You're also trying to figure out what sets the alarm off. So like just shooting an enemy, like if you can kill an enemy before, even if they see you, if you can kill them before they can fire a shot, it doesn't alert the commander. But if the commander sees somebody dead or being shot, they set the alarm off, which makes sense, obviously. But there's other really dumb things, like the psychic thing. If you're gonna have a system like this, if the commander's 80 yards away and a guy fires a single shot, that shouldn't set the alarm off. There needs to be a little bit of leeway there. It shouldn't be like, oh, this trigger was set, automatically set the alert. I think that was kind of shitty. But overall, like I feel like the strength of the game, the gunplay, we didn't actually get to experience as much as we should have because we were doing a little bit too much stealth. Again, overall, I was okay with it, and mostly because I like stealth games. But I feel like it was doing something it really shouldn't have been focusing on. As far as other things like the upgrade system, I think it's similar to the first game if I remember right, and I liked it. I like the systems that reward you, not only reward you for your play style by default, but also encourage you to try different things to get more upgrades. So for example, I like to do the stealth, I like to do the axe kills, I like to do the focused shots, like the zooming in shots, whatever. And the game rewards you for that. But once you've got those mastered, if you want to keep unlocking upgrades, which is beneficial to all styles of play, then you want to mix it up. So for example, there were the perks for killing enemies while dual wielding weapons. Well, typically I don't play, well, there's not many of them, but I typically don't dual wield rifles in this type of game. But I was encouraged to do that just to unlock some of the other perks. I didn't have to, but it did encourage me to kind of move outside of what I normally would do, which is cool. I really, really like the upgrade system. I think it's probably one of the best ones I've seen. I think Doom was similar as well, in that it would reward you for doing certain things. But yeah, I really, really like the upgrade system. The gunplay itself, as mentioned, felt good. I don't feel like there was a great balance in the weapons overall. I feel like the two main weapons, excluding the axe, that were amazing were the laser rifle gun that we got from Fergus, and the Uzi. Once we silenced it, once we silenced the Uzi, and then especially once we got that upgrade to do the extra damage, that became our main weapon through the playthrough because of how everything else is set up, right? Because you had to be stealthy and all that. That became one of our main weapons. And then once the shit hit the fan, the laser craftwork or whatever it was called, that weapon was just ridiculously good, especially when you could do the charge. Like I felt those two weapons dominated. Axes were also ridiculously good as well. But the other ones, when I used them, felt good. Like once I started using the regular rifles, I actually did enjoy them. But again, I felt that typically speaking, the Uzi it did shoot slower, but I felt like they were very, very close. But I will say the rifles just felt better, if that makes sense. The story was... I felt like the story was going to be taking itself seriously at first, but then some of the stuff that happens was just so off the rails. It was like, what? Like, it was just really bizarre that a game that seemed to be taking itself fairly seriously just did some of the wacky, weird shit that it did. Like with the execution and all that. Like, that was just, like, what? Like, what was that about? Like, that was just weird. There was a few other strange parts like that. Like the part at the end where the wife, like, rips her top off and starts blowing shit up. I'm like, I don't think her top was on fire or something. Like, I thought maybe her shirt was supposed to be on fire. That's why she threw it off, then it would make a little bit of sense. Again, far be it for me to dismiss a gratuitous tit shot, but it was just out of nowhere. But yeah, some of it was kind of cringy too.
Blaskowitz, while the guy's off kicking ass and revolutionizing, you and I are gonna tie up some loose ends by taking out any Uber commanders left on the board. Now get on the Enigma machine and the war map and do your thing. I'll be your comm support. Come on, let's pave the way for our people on the ground.
Cool. Yeah, see, so I can still go back and do those, which again, I really like that. I won't do it
on the to-do list.
But I like that it is an option. Oh, I like that she's actually crossed off now. That's cool. And the other generals that I got, the Uber commanders, are taken off as well. But anyway, wrapping up kind of my review here. I do think that the story was weird, but I mean, you don't play this game for a story. It was good enough to keep you going. The Nazi stuff was a little cringy sometimes. Like, I felt like they were fishing a little too hard. Like the whole thing with Hitler, like he's like just shooting those random dudes, like vomiting, pissing in a bucket, calling the one woman his mother, and like I was like, okay, is he gonna poop himself now and pick his nose and eat a booger? Like, it was just silly. Like, and again, it's hard to know how to take it with this game, because again, a lot of it tries to take itself seriously, but then there's other parts where it doesn't take itself very seriously at all, or parts that are just so absurd. It's like, what the hell is this? So yeah, I don't know, just stuff like that just sticks out. Like, they're trying so hard to be like, oh god, that Hitler, right? And again, not to say that Hitler was a cool guy or anything like that. He was obviously a scumbag, but like, we get it, Hitler sucks. Like, but to like make him this like characterized like everything that's gross and nasty and just terrible was again a little cringy, but whatever, it was passable. But overall, I did like the game. Again, I liked the first game a little bit more, so if you haven't played the first one, definitely check it out. It was fantastic. But this game was really good too. As a score, 1 out of 10, where 10 would be like the absolute must-play, defining game of the genre type game, and the 5 would be about equal parts good, equal parts bad. I would put this game, I would put it about a 7.5. Which again, this is not an IGN 7 where they don't like the game and they give it a 7. This is, I do like it. I did overall find it enjoyable. But, you know, one of the, like I said, the big hang-up for me is feeling like I'm playing a stealth game with guns. And not like Splinter Cell, but like a stealth game without great stealth mechanics. So, and I felt the stealth was a little bit more forced in the first game, even on the higher difficulties. Because I played the first game in the highest difficulty as well, if I believe. But yeah, and I have heard some people say they enjoy this game more when they lower the difficulty. I can absolutely see that. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my god, you have to play it on the hardest difficulty or you're not a real gamer or whatever. That's fucking stupid if you say that, you're a goddamn moron. I like to play on the higher difficulties just because I find it challenging, and you know, you have to scrounge around and stuff. But, you know, it is a bummer that you can go from like literally 100 health, 100 armor to dead in like 4 bullets. Like that did get a bit old. I wish they'd have made the difficulty difficult in a different way than just slapping bigger numbers on. But I mean, I guess that's the standard. But anyway, yeah, about a 7.5. As far as the price, I usually like to suggest a price. that I would suggest to pay if you are interested in the game. If you really like FPS and the ones that you don't, you know, some of the more modern ones where you run out, take a bunch of bullets, and then hide behind a pillar for 5 seconds and you're back to full, and then you pop back out. If you want a more classic FPS, it's not quite classic obviously, but more classic, I would say, and especially if you're the type to want to go and do more of the assassination stuff than I did, I would say 50 to 60 for the full thing. It was fairly long. I feel like there's a lot of assassination missions to do, a lot of stuff to find within those stages, like the side quests to get 100%. So I feel like if you're the type to do that, I think you get your full price. And there also is one more difficulty unlocked. I'm sure it's absolutely asinine. I'll never touch it. But if you're really into that thing, I think it'd be worth it. If you just kind of like FPS, it's not your main genre, you do enjoy it, you wouldn't play it on the hardest difficulty, you just kind of, you know, play through on a higher or medium somewhere in there, and you might do some assassination missions, but maybe not all of them. You wouldn't really worry too much about side quests and completing the game 100%. I'd say around 30-ish, around $30 would be fair. There's not a lot of experiences quite like it. Like I said, again, the gunplay does feel really nice, and when you get to use it. And but yeah, anyway, that's enough rambling out of me. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks again to Asger for your continued support on Patreon. Very much appreciate it. Make sure you guys like the videos if you like them. It did help me a lot. And let me know in the comments what you thought of the series, and I'll see you next time.